Hey Barrett, what's going on, man? They're not letting me release internal training documents, so screw it. We're going live, man. Stick with me on this one. Going to run through really what the prospecting process kind of looks like with the Xywave tools. Not going to start in ModMaster. Going to start with some of the different resources we can use to set meetings. One of the best ones that we've got, I think, is in Broker Briefcase, and that's just going to be a mod prospecting letter. You can use this as a phone script within Broker Briefcase. We do have a couple other call scripts, some more of those prospecting questions to ask. I think this one positions ModMaster really well, though, so I'd probably just roll with this. Drop it off at businesses, use it at networking events, make this your cold call script. Basically breaks down workers' comp is tough to understand. A lot of business owners look at it as a cost of doing business and that they don't have any kind of way to control it, which is a complete lie. Over here with Barrett Bartels, we can actually do a bit more of a deeper analytic dive into your work comp, show you how it was calculated, where you sit against your average peer, 1.0 mod, or what the lowest cost could be. It takes about 5 minutes of your time. If you think we've got something to it, we can set up a 30-minute meeting after that. So that's how I'd set it using this kind of script or this kind of language, and then we get into running a quick mod. And again, with quick mod, that's inside Broker ModMaster. Very simple to do. I'm not even going to do any kind of data entry. Essentially, all you have to do is bring up the account that you want. I'm going to bring up one that I've already gotten here, so you don't have to see me enter anything. So I'll bring these guys up. And then inside the account, you can look at the old mods that you ran, or else you can add in a new mod. To add in a new mod, all I have to do is just say new mod here. It's running a little bit slow today, but basically we've got the account name, figuring that it's NCCI. If I've got the PDF of the NCCI sheet, all I'm doing is uploading it, or I can enter manually. I'm going to show you enter manually just so you can see all the information that's needed. Very simple, can be done in about 3 minutes. So with the new quick mod, here we go, it's loading up. Name, effective date, pop in the SIT code, manual premium, so that's if they're a 1.0. And then these things are going to be pre-filled from the PDF NCCI sheet that we're putting in, multi-state, single state, and then we can also put in specific incurred losses, and you're done. That's all the info we need. So I'm going to back out of this one. I'm going to go to a pre-built quick mod and show you how to really just tell the story. So the easiest one, going to pop into this quick mod here. And you'll see where we're sitting in comparison to a 1.0 and then the minimum. So basically, 1.0 is $385K in premium. We got that information in. This is all pulled from the NCCI form. We've got no incurred losses. Just hitting calculate on the bottom. And that's going to bring up our basic mod analysis. So right here we can see, hey, we're a 1.04, paying $400,000. Average 1.0 is $385, a minimum 0.52. If I was going into prospect this company, I would feel really good about my chances knowing that there's that much money left on the table here. So now I'm going to run the reports on it. And this is just going to be 7 pieces of materials that position the mod in a way they've never seen it before. Oh, click the wrong button. No, don't want to do a full. I'm going to select all, create the report, and the cool thing about it is when it's creating the report, it is going to bring up some different sample documents from in Broker Briefcase that are going to directly correlate to the losses in the mod that we just ran. So you're going to be able to see, okay, maybe there's a return to work issue. Not a lot of IJ6 codes. That's crazy. There should be more of them. There shouldn't be a lot of indemnity codes. Let's look up a different campaign to talk about return to work, generate more interest. Or maybe it's a let's build a safety culture about attitude and execution from employees and management standpoint, or other related topics talking about saving money with work comp. So it ties in that content you're getting from Broker Briefcase to the actual task you're working on, making the producer's jobs a heck of a lot easier. From there, I'm just going to open up the report, figure out what screen it's going to open on. All right, here we go. And this is that basic mod analysis now. So cover page going to be branded back to you, have your information on here, prospect information, looking at the aggregate loss sensitivity. So Mr. and Mrs. Prospect, we can see how your work comp is trending. If you don't do anything, it's probably going to get worse, and you can see if we increase our eMod, these are going to be the correlating dollars that go with it. Fortunately for you, over at Barrett Bartel's agency, we do put plans in place to help our accounts save money on a year-over-year basis. Typically, they're seeing about a 20% decrease when we're able to put in a plan year-over-year, year one, without shopping at two different carriers. And this is done by just implementing safety practices that affect the daily work lives of your employees. So if you're increasing in premium, here's where it's going to be going. If you work with us, you're going to be able to save a lot of money here. Next page past that just shows where we got the info. Not sexy. It's just pulling from those different data points we put in. Past that, here's what the formula is. These are where the numbers are going to create that 1.04. Just double checking what the NCCI is to make sure it's correct. Beyond that, we've got primary versus excess loss. So now we're looking at, hey, our actual losses are less than the expected, but we're a 1.04. That doesn't make sense to me. Okay, well, your primary losses, which are going to be your slips, trips, falls, small muscle tears, things like that, is a little bit higher than expected. Your excess is actually a decent amount less. So that's going to be people sawing their hands off or like getting sucked into a grain mill. I don't know, like big losses, and they're lower. Well, why are we 1.04? Well, it's because your primary losses count for 123% of the standardized rate, and the excess is only the 63%. So as you can see, much heavier weighting on the primary. What that means, 0.45 of your 0.52 of the minimum mod, or the controllable rather, is because of those primary losses. Derek falling into the grain mill was only 0.07. So you're able to see my minimum mod, if I had 0 losses, 3 years as a business owner, and my premium or my payroll codes all stay the same, paying $200K. The controllable mod, due to the losses that are primary, is 0.45, $173,000 of my premium that I'm paying of the $400,000 is contributed to that. NCCI form does not show that in dollars and cents. Prospects, clients have no idea how much money they're spending because of primary excess losses. This breaks it down really easy, plain for them to see. So now I, as the producer, understand, okay, there's a problem at this account. I'm going to hook them a little bit more and try getting them to give me the loss runs. So from there, this is going to show if we did have any of those specific loss sensitivities, it would bring up that loss, show us a dollar amount tied to it, and then the premium impact over 1 year and 3 years. So that's pretty cool. It can show them like, hey, if you didn't have this one entry, it can be ran as an if-then scenario. You would have saved X amount on your premium, which is pretty neat. And this is going to be the last page. This is where I just like leave it open, put it in front of them, say my piece, and just shut the hell up. And just leave it. So I'm going to position it as, okay, Mr. Business Owner, currently you're paying $400,400 a year at a 1.04. This isn't news to you. You know it. What might be news to you is that your average competitor is a 1.0 paying $385,000 a year. That means January 1st, 2020, you are at a $15,000 disadvantage to your peers. How much extra product do you have to sell? How many services do you have to sell to make up that $15,000 revenue to break even day one? Okay, now let's take a look at the minimum. Minimum mod is 0.52, meaning 0 losses, 3 years, your payroll, your codes, $200,000. When's the last time your broker sat down with you, took a look at your trends, took a look at just trying to figure out what was wrong to help you get closer to that $200,000 spend? And then you shut up and you let them spew a little bit. So that would be me as a producer, how I'm going to set up a first meeting when talking about work comp. I know it's kind of a gray area for a lot of business owners that don't understand it well. That's all you have to say to really come off like an expert for them and show them, okay, you give me a little bit more data, I can really analyze it and put a plan in place. So that's kind of steps 1 and 2. So prospecting, having that new message, getting base information from them from the NCCI form, popping it in the system, 7-page report, very easy to understand. Now what I would do is, okay, Mr. and Mrs. Business Owner, I've shown you kind of where you're sitting today. What I'd love to do is build out a comprehensive plan and try to find out where those cost drivers are for you. And to do that, I'm going to need 3 years loss runs. Kind of a pain in the butt for them to pull it, but if they can get it to you, it's just real simple data entry, and that's going to be a full mod. So I'm going to switch over to a different full mod with a company that I already ran one for. Let me pop in here. And pull that up. All right. I think my screen is freaking out on me a little bit. And that is going to be under Brush Research Manufacturing. Now, this is all kind of like real data I ran for partners before. So bear with me. It might be a little bit outdated, but the story is going to ring true still. And the data we need on this one is just a little bit more, and I want to say invasive, but a bit more than just 7 seconds of doing an import. So with that, once it loads, you're going to be able to see the different type of information we need. So we're going to have some policy period information. We're going to have 3 years payroll, 3 years group losses, 3 years itemized, then the results and the reports. Now, with the different losses, if they're in Excel format, you can import it into Excel. Totally fine. If they're giving it to you in like PDF or, just on a printout or something like that, it is data entry. Complete idiot, don't know how to do much on a computer. I did 36 losses over the course of 3 years while watching TV during commercial breaks. Took me about 45 minutes. So once you get into it and you're actually using it and dedicating your energy and focus on it, it's about 25 minutes if you like manually enter things in. So where we're really talking here now is, again, looking at their premium analysis. There are, and I'm going to pull up the reports. I'm not going to pull up all of them. It would be overkill. So we had 7 on the quick mod. There are about 60 different reports you can have for a full mod that breaks down pretty much all information you can have, puts it in data form, and also pictographs or infographics, making it really easy to understand where the problems are. I would not do all of the different reports. That's going to be data overkill. Most people only want to see like a 20-page in-depth report. So I'm going to pull up one that I did. And with these guys, again, same story, but I can dive into a little bit more. So cover page, bring it back to you guys, your colors, yada, yada, you get it. Hitting them with the what we got them with before, saying current mods 1.99, 425. Average 1.0, 213. Minimum 0.46, 98K. There's $326,000 on the table per year because you don't have safety or return to work or whatever it is in place. Let me show you what we're going to be able to do. And then you start diving into it. So you can take a look at breakdown over year to year. How are they trending? Was it a good year? Was it a bad year? the mod impact on premium. So again, kind of breaking down those 1.99, 1.0, 0.46 and the controllable. Loss sensitivity, what are we trending? What are we going to see if it goes up 20% versus down 15? You get it. Couple different basic strategies. This is all data driven. I don't like getting into that too much. The stories I would tell is by having them look at the losses that happened. So again, breaking down year over year, limited losses versus expected. These guys were way out of whack. Had a lot of crazy stuff happening. Let's see. So here's the data. I really don't like it because it shows in like chart format. It's injury date, claim number, impact on mod, dollars. I'm not a numbers dude. This doesn't really resonate to me. Plus, I don't know what I'm really looking at. So you can see, okay, cause of injury, that's what we're looking at. Strain from repetitive motion. Over the course of 3 years, it's causing us 363K. Caught by machinery, over the course of 3 years, 111. What we're able to do then is draw a picture with it. Without really knowing anything else, you can say, hey, Mr. Business Owner, we found some of the cost drivers and pretend you only had enough money to throw at one problem when it comes to safety. Which one do you choose? Well, anyone with half a brain cell can see the number one loss by a lot is strain injury from repetitive motion. What I'd probably do then is say, hey, do you have a job change program? Because right now what it looks like is people are pressing a button for 8 hours a day, making their shoulders and elbows all wonky. How about they push a button for 2 hours, then they pull a lever for 2 hours, then they go to lunch and do goat yoga or whatever it is for wellness that they want to do. They come back and then they kick a pedal for 2 hours, and then they go back to pushing a button for 2 hours. Again, way less repetitive motion injuries are going to happen. You're going to see these claims diminishing. Or you can look at claimant name. Who are my problem employees? Are their managers aware? Do we have them on a performance improvement plan? What are we doing on that level? So you can see there's different things like when are losses happening? Okay, Andre and Dahlia both had injuries on New Year's Day 2014. Did they party too hard the night before? Like, did we not give them New Year's Day off and they came into work hungover maybe, or just super tired and they both got hurt? Well, if that's the case, that's $150,000 worth of losses and premium that you have to make up because you didn't give people an extra day of PTO. So maybe take a look at that. And you can just burn through and see the same kind of thing. Oh, loss on 12/22. Maybe Robert Miller wanted some extra time off around Christmas. It's a really good way of being able to break out just some of the data that's going to get lost in basic loss runs instead of you having to go in and do the deep dive and have that analytical kind of scary conversation of work comp. This just puts it in pictures of what's wrong, what are the cost drivers, why are we paying so much? And it breaks down by number of losses as well as dollar amounts tied to those claimant numbers. So, like, this is really all I would say you need to do for work comp to generate new business, and you can go work comp light with QuickMod, and that's going to be that 5-minute conversation to set the second meeting. Typically what we're seeing, I've got a partner in Michigan called Arbery Insurance. They do this very well. If they're to the point of getting the 3 years loss runs before doing a full mod for that prospect, they're at a 95% closing ratio. It's huge just because now, hey, we've got a plan. The prospect is bought into it, and they're not here because, hey, maybe this year's quote is going to be lower. These guys have a plan for me to save me money in the long run. So that's being very long-sighted, which is awesome. But yeah, that's really what ModMaster is. I'm recording this live. I hope all of this is coming through. My audio is there. So really, this is the position I would take. You go out, use the prospecting letter, the different cold call scripts we have, ask some of the right questions. Basically just say, hey, can I make sure that your current broker is staying honest, doing the most they can for you when it comes to your work comp? Can almost guarantee they weren't asked that question ever before. So, Barrett, hopefully this is enough to push you over the edge and add ModMaster to it. we can definitely look at doing this a bit more in depth if you decide to sign on when I'm on site for that initial sales kickoff. So any other questions, give me a ring. It's 414-918-2639. Kicks right over to my cell phone as well, so we can answer those for you. All right, Barrett, thanks, man. Have a good one.